I'm reluctant to change it from option one. And also, I don't want to change the level of service that we provide the citizens. And also, the transfer to the CIP, I think, is very important and prudent, especially if we are going to go into discussions about improving people's roads still, like Harriet Lane. I mean, we have 160,000, is that what is going to be?
150 in CIP and 10 in vehicle replacement.
Okay. You know, I mean, that's not even going to go very far when it comes to paving a road. It's, you know.
That's what I was inquiring about option 2 and 3 is as far as if you take the actual days of fund balance and then you base them all on the 103, I think that we would have, whether it's 50,000, 100,000, I would just like,
But even with that, you would have, well, maybe 200, you know, 200,000 or whatever that figure is. I mean, it's going to cost more than $300,000 to pave Harriet Lane. I'm feel pretty certain. I don't even know where I would even begin to estimate something like that. I mean, I'm not even going to ask Troy to do that because that would be mean. But it's going to, you know, we've seen all the costs. I mean, the CIP is very important to get all the roads paved. I think we come to an agreement on council that we want to see the roads, all the roads get paved. And, you know, we also have to buy new equipment and new vehicles as well, so.
How much do we have still left in the CIP, the 2010 CIP fund from the road improvement?
I don't know that number right off the top of my head.
It's a little over $1 million, somewhere around there.
The roads are not finished, and
Right.
I don't know, I can't speak to where those dollars stand. That's,
Right. Okay.
And there are, I mean, there's certain restrictions on some of the money, and I don't know what they are right off the top of my head, but I mean, you know, we have to be careful about certain money has to be spent on road improvement, and certain money has to be spent on road maintenance, so.
Your option,
I mean,
option
right now,
one.
yeah. It's the one I think I would do.
I believe option 2 is out of the question. We're really looking at option 1 or 3. Keeping with the original 0.3975 and keeping the CIP in there again in a time that we're not really affected by anything, but having more of a security blanket might be the better way of going. Just because of the fact that we can do that and not affect the taxes in a great deal, and being able to add more of a security, that might be the option to keep with.
Option 3.
Option 1, I'm thinking of.
I mean, it's hard to get back to where, to the level of service that you provided if you go down that far. We have to, if we run into.
Because things are going up, that's, you know, the cost of
Absolutely.
materials and what have you.
The only thing I was questioning is, you know, we're looking at a 150-day surplus, and if we maintain 103 days, that still leaves option 2 and 3 several $1,000s to put into the CIP fund. I mean, it's listed as 0, but if you take the true number of days at the end of the year, option 2 and 3 will both have quite a bit of surplus money to transfer into the CIP. So it's a matter of, to me, it's how much do we want to put in the CIP versus, you know, lowering the taxes.
And if that's the case, how much, I mean, do we have a roundabout number of what's going to be brought over into the CIP instead of having 0, 0 in there?
I wouldn't, we would just reanalyze it when we go through that budget reestimate process. Or we, at a 6-month mark, we could look at it and I can see where we are at the 6-month mark.
But go in between and do the option 3. Satisfy both sides of it.
Just a rough estimate, Kim, I mean, you're great with numbers. Say they do go with option 3's out there, and if the fund balance equaled that of option 1, the 103, maintaining that, can you give us a guesstimate of what kind of money we'd have to transfer into the CIP?
I'm sorry, give me the scenario again, say that again.
Looking at option 3, and if you were taking the true number of days of fund balance that's shown here, or that, the re-estimate days, and putting all of these at 103 days, what kind of money are we talking about? What's 1 day of excess fund balance equal?
About $7,500. So option 3, if you made everything equal across the bottom at 103, would leave a balance of $142,500.
That's what we'd be able to put in the CIP
That's the
with
way I see
option
it.
3. So there would be, we could lower the taxes and still go into our CIP fund, so. Does that sound right?
Some of that transfer is fund balance that's being pulled, excess fund balance from 11 that would be pulled down on. So it's not just FY12 that you're talking about. You're talking about what has been managed extremely well in FY11. The benefit of that is what's going into CIP.
I would expect we could do the same thing like the department heads and make some very frugal decisions with their budgets, and I expect that to continue, so I don't think we'll see anything out of the normal there.
But theoretically, when we get into fiscal year 13 and we don't have the mineral, what is our likely jump to maintain our level of service?
I tried to model it going a couple years out.
It's hard.
There's
I know
so
it's
many
hard.
suppositions that I have to make that without somebody saying, okay, this is what we really anticipate, it's very difficult to do. Next year is very easy to me at this point because that appraisal date is 3 months away. And we all know that nothing much is going to change between now and January 1 of 2012. So rates, values probably have not increased dramatically. I wouldn't say they've declined like they did last year. Last year we actually had slight negative value. In aggregate we had slight negative value. This year we had, when you pull out the extraordinary things and you pull out growth, we had a minor negative growth, but it was close enough to 0 that you could call it just stable. I'm not in real estate, but what I read in the paper and what I hear on TV tells me that, and what I read in our local paper tells me that there's not much change in Denton County, and that's probably, those 2 categories will probably be about where they are right now. I don't have any reason to believe that they're going to change, but what I do know is that the minerals are going to decrease because nothing new has come online, and those values are going to go down. I had a fairly lengthy conversation with the gentleman at DCAD, and it's just going to happen.
I think to answer, going back to your 2013, I'm excited we've got the sewer line scheduled